Hi children, welcome to grade 6 English and this is our session 3 in chapter 4, The Necklace of Pearls. In our earlier session, we have completed the first part of the story and today we are going to see the remaining part. And children, before getting into our session, let's do an energizer. You have to decode the secret code. The secret message is written in the form of symbols. In the code key at the bottom, you can find what each symbol means. And write the letter above the symbol and you can read the secret message. And let us see who is first to find out the correct secret message. Yes? Can you try it, children? Yeah. Children, I hope you enjoyed this energizer. It's really interesting and challenging, right? Yeah. And now let's read the story, The Necklace of Pearls. And let's recap what we have seen in our earlier session and summarize it. Children, in a tiny cottage on a steep rocky hillside of one of the islands of Azores, there lived a poor woman and her only son, Francisco. Every day, the boy went fishing in his little boat, and every night he brought home some fish to cook for their evening meal and also to carry into a market to sell. In this way, they lived a very comfortable and happy life together, and they loved each other dearly. Francisco, with his fair skin, blue eyes, and thatch of curly golden hair, he was the handsomest boy in the whole parish. And when he was 16 years old, there was a rich man's daughter who had smiled upon him. But this boy thought only of his fishing boat and his mother, and he did not notice the smiles. One night, the moon was so bright that Francisco could not able to sleep. He awakened his mother, who was dozing comfortably in her bed. And here you can see the picture of Francisco and his mother. And I am going fishing, mother dear, he said. The moonlight is calling me, so I am going to go and fish. His mother started up from her bed in terror and surprise. Why, my boy, you never did such a thing before, and you have never been fishing in the night, and some evil will surely befall on you, so better don't go. But Francisco laughed at her fears and said, Don't worry about me, dear mother. I know how to take care of myself. It is as light as day. And think how many fish I will bring back for you to sell in the market tomorrow. His mother shook her head anxiously, but with another loving kiss, the boy ran out into the bright moonlight. He quickly launched his fishing boat and soon was floating smoothly along the peaceful waters of the bay. And after some time, it felt like a silver pathway in the moonlight which gleamed. The soft air, the gentle rocking of the little boat, the face of the moon upon which his blue eyes were fixed combined to send sleep to his eyelids. Soon he started sleeping in the little boat. A few moments later, the moon's rays upon his curls made them shine as if they were made of gold. And now the village maidens, they were not only the ones who had noticed Francisco's blue eyes and handsome face, a water nymph who dwelt in depths of the sea had often observed him. In the daytime, she was invisible to the eyes of human, but she always had been near the lad. She often spent long hours near him, never taking her eyes from his face. Here comes the beautiful youth in his little fishing boat, she cried, and she saw the moonlight gleaming upon his bright curls. At last, my wish has come true. Now at night, he will be able to see me. She felt very happy and she arranged her own beautiful hair before a little mirror she carried. Some of the strands of priceless pearls which decked her lovely head were a trifle awry. These and the necklaces of rare pearls which hung about her fair throat surrounded her with a gleam of soft light, almost like the light of the moon. As she approached the little boat, she saw that Francisco was fast asleep. She swam in the direction of the lad with all possible speed, a wild terror in her eyes. What madness is this? She exclaimed. She looked down upon his bowed head. This frail boat will drift upon the dangerous rocks and be dashed to pieces. I'll take him home to my own palace without awakening him, she said. She wants to take him to her palace. When he sees how lovely it is, he will definitely will like me a little bit, she thought. Just for a moment she hesitated, thinking of how far from home Francisco would be in the palace of Mother of Pearl in the depths of the sea. The rocks are really very dangerous, she said to herself as she gently drew his sleeping form into her arms. The next morning, Francisco's empty fishing boat was found by the fisherman. For hours his mother had watched in vain for his return. When at last she heard that the empty boat had been found, she was nearly wild with grief. He was the best son a mother ever had. She moaned over and over again, how can I live without him? As the days passed by and the weeks went by, it was increasingly difficult for the poor woman to live. She not only missed her boy's loving smile, but she also missed the fish he caught so skillfully. There was little for the poor woman to eat if she had any appetite for food. She didn't get any food to even eat. And why don't you go to the wise man of the sea and tell him your troubles? Asked one of the neighbors. Francisco's mother knew that it was a long and difficult journey to reach the wise man of the sea. She decided, however, it would be worth the effort just to gaze into his wise eyes. He knew so much. Perhaps he would know how to say something to comfort her in her great sorrow and loneliness. She had shrugged her shoulders when her neighbor had spoken of it, but she would not get the idea out of her mind. She knew that she would never rest in peace until she had made this journey. Accordingly, she launched the Francisco's fishing boat, and thanks to the smooth seas, she reached the little rocky island in the midst of the sea where the wise man of the sea lived. His tall form was outlined above the cliff even as she tied her little boat. He was very tall, far taller than anybody she had ever seen, and his snow-white beard fell to his feet. He was clothed in fish scales which gleamed in the sunlight. Well, little mother, what can I do for you? He asked. The eyes of wise men of the sea were very kind as well as full of great wisdom. Francisco's mother forgot to be afraid of him as she had expected to be. She told him the story of her lost son. The wise man listened very carefully to her words, and then he said, "Good mother, I am glad to tell you that I know where your Francisco is. He is in the power of a water nymph who has carried him away to her castle of Mother of Pearl in the depths of the sea." Francisco's mother felt the tears of joy well up into her eyes. "Is my boy happy there? And is he well?" she asked eagerly. "He is entirely well and happy. The water nymph gave him a philtre which has made him forget his past life entirely," he said. "I am glad you told me that," said the boy's mother. "I was just wondering how my dear lad could be very happy while he was causing me so much sorrow. He has always been the best and the kindest son with which a mother ever was blessed," she said. And till this part of the story we have already seen in our earlier session, and now let's continue reading the remaining. The wise man of the sea started to say something, but the woman interrupted as a new thought flew into her mind. Tell me, she cried, is there no way of getting him back? With all your wisdom, can't you think of some way to make him once more remember the mother who loves him and the little home in which we have passed so many happy days together? Do you not know some means of breaking the power which the water nymph has over him? She cried with the wise man of the sea and she asked help with him. The wise man looked out across the sea in silence for at least a minute and a half. He thought hard. Francisco's mother watched him with very eager eyes. She could hardly wait for his answer. At last, these were the words which fell from his lips. You have shed many tears, good woman, but tears are still to flow if you are to bring back your son. Oh, must I suffer more? Cried the heartbroken mother. It seems that I have already lived a lifetime since my dear lad kissed me in the moonlight. I have endured all that I can bear. The wise man smiled gently as he raised his hand. Listen, my child, he said. Your tears must be shed upon the bosom of the waters. If perchance one of them should fall upon your son's heart, there in the palace of water nymph in the depths of the sea, the power of their philtre will be broken. The wise man said one solution to get back Francisco. That is, the tears of this old woman should reach the palace. That is, water nymph palace, and if that tears shed on the heart of Francisco, the power of her philtre will be broken. And after hearing this, the old mother started shedding tears and she said, I'll shed whole oceans of tears if I can break the power of that water nymph and bring back my Francisco. The fact is that she began to shed tears then and there, even before she had thanked the wise man of the sea for what he had told her. Now it happened that Francisco had grown to love the beautiful palace of the mother of pearl in the depths of the sea. Francisco started loving that beautiful palace and the things all around that palace. He never got tired of all its beauty because all were very beautiful there, and about the palace there were lovely gardens filled with flowers which are made of precious gems. Each tiny bud of that garden was worth a king's ransom. So rich were the jewels which composed it. The water nymph often gathered her arms full of these rare blossoms and wove them into a garland to crown Francisco's golden curls. He never had a thought of the old life at home with his mother, so completely had the nymph's philtre done its work. And there was always a big fish swimming about the palace. On its back there was a cushion of sea green satin embroidered with lovely pearls. This is your riding horse, said the water nymph to Francisco the first day he had seen it. If you should ever get tired of this palace and find the life here a bit monotonous, just mount this horse and ride about for a little, she said to Francisco. The water nymph had shaken out her long fair tresses so that they covered as much as possible of the fish tail she had instead of feet. And water nymph always used to cover her fish tail with the fair tresses. Yes, and instead of feet, she was very sensitive about the fact that she had no feet upon which to wear pretty little slippers like those of the maiden she had often seen in that village. Called out gay greetings to the handsome fisher lad. Francisco had smiled into her eyes. How absurd, he cried, to think of such a thing as getting tired of this wonderful place. And Francisco always loved that water nymph, and she had always covering up her fish tail she had instead of feet, and she felt always very sensitive that she had no feet because she always wanted to wear little slippers like all the little girls out there in the village. And Francisco smiled upon water nymph, saying that how absurd, you said, and how can anyone can get tired of this wonderful place. In fact, after some days passed by, and all too fast for the very happy youth, then it suddenly happened one day while the water nymph was asleep, and he thought of his mother. The little house which had been his home for 16 years and more, and the fishing boat which was his pride and joy, the moonlight night when he had gaily kissed his mother's cheek and gone away never to return. He did not stop to waken the sleeping nymph. He said no word to the servants of palace. He thought only of the fish with the cushion of sea green satin embroidered with rare pearls. And one fine day, while this water nymph felt asleep, what happened? Everything came to his mind. Yes, and he get back all the memories what he had about his past life. And after that, he immediately left from that palace without saying anyone, and also without disturbing the water nymph who was sleeping. He thought only of the fish with that cushion of sea green satin embroidered with rare pearls to escape from that place. Quick, he cried it out. Take me home as fast as you can, he said. My mother's heart is breaking, and she has shed so many tears for me. I know that by this time she may be entirely blind. In another hour, Francisco was safe at home with his mother's arms about him. She had said so many tears that her eyes were swollen almost shut, but they were not closed so completely that they could not shine with the great joy which once more filled her heart. Promise me one thing, she said to him. Give me your word that you will never go fishing again. I don't trust that water nymph ever in the daytime. Accordingly, Francisco gave up being a fisherman and became a hunter. To make his spears, he gathered the young saplings which grew on the hillside even down to the edge of the water. He had grown still handsomer while he had lived in the palace of mother of pearl in the depths of the sea, and there were twice as many pretty maidens who had cast smiling glances in his direction. And after some time, he reached his mother, and he saw his mother was full of tears, and her eyes were swollen almost shut. She couldn't able to express her joy with the help of her eyes, and also which once more filled her heart with great joy after seeing Francisco. And she said, promise me one thing, you should not go fishing ever again, and I won't trust that water nymph even in the daytime, so you better give up fishing. And after that, Francisco gave up being a fisherman and became a hunter, and he used to gather the young saplings from the hillside to make his spears for hunting. And he had grown still handsomer after he had lived in the palace of mother of pearl in the depths of the sea. And there were twice as many pretty maidens in that village who cast smiling glances in his direction. And it was the daughter of the rich man of the village who at last won the heart of Francisco. When he went a wooing, however, he had no gift to take except the birds he had killed with his own hand. The rich man laughed at him. These were his words, when my daughter marries, it shall be only to a youth who can bring her rich gifts. Francisco went away with a sad heart and sat upon the rocks at the edge of the sea, gazing out over the water with eyes so full of tears that they saw nothing. The water nymph was not far away from the shore those days. She was always seeking for a glimpse of golden head which she had so often crowned with flowers. And it was the daughter of the rich man of the village who won the heart of Francisco. And when he went to see that girl, he had no gift to take except the birds and the animals he killed with his own hand. But the rich man laughed at him, saying, "When my daughter marries, it shall be only to the man who can bring her rich gifts." Francisco felt very sad, and he sat upon the rocks at the edge of the sea, gazing out over the water with eyes so full of tears, and he can't able to see anything. The water nymph was not far away from the shore those days, and she was always seeking for glimpse of the golden head which she had always crowned with flowers. Her joy now at the sight of him was buried by her sorrow. When she saw that his heart was full of awe, she knew that at once the cause of his grief. The next morning, when Francisco went to get wood to make a new spear, he found a necklace of priceless pearls lying on the shore. It was the gift of the water nymph, but since his heart had been touched by his mother's tears, he had entirely forgotten her. He took the gift to the maid he loved with never a thought of the giver. And after seeing Francisco worrying so much sitting at the edge of the sea, this water nymph felt very bad. Her joy now at the sight of him was buried by her sorrow. She felt very joyful after seeing him, but after seeing him feeling very sad, she also felt very sorrowful in her heart. And she saw that his heart was full of awe. So she knew at once the cause of his grief. And the next morning, when Francisco went to get wood to make a new spear, he found a necklace of priceless pearls lying on the shore. And as we all know, it was the gift of the water nymph to Francisco. But since his heart had been touched by his mother's tears, he can't able to remember anything, and he had entirely forgotten the water nymph. He took the gift to the maid, that is to the girl he loved, with never a thought of the giver. Instead of thinking of who have given that wonderful gift to him, he just took the gift and he went to the girl whom he loved. Yes. And this story was written by Elsie Spicer Eels, a Portuguese folk tale. Children, I hope you are clear with the story, right? And it's really interesting, magical and imaginary, right? And let's summarize. Children, after reading the story, you have to summarize this story with all the main points. Clear? And also you have to add what you have learned from the story. And what is the moral of the story, children? Mother's love. Yes, it's nothing about some other things, but it's full of mother's love. Mother's love is very powerful and valuable, precious, and it can go to any extent for the love of her children. Yes, this is what we have learned from the story, right? Yeah. And children, let me tell you the home assignment for today's session. Read chapter 4, The Necklace of Pearls story from your concept book twice. And you have to read the story thoroughly, children. And you have to complete practice zone 1 questions. After referring the story, you can find answer for all the questions in this practice zone 1, and you can refer concept book page number 48. And you can do this in your English note. After completing your homework, hand in your completed homework in grade 6 English Google Classroom. Children, all of you drink plenty of water, eat healthy food, reduce your screen time, don't use mobile phones and television often, give adequate rest to your eyes, and most of all, stay home and stay safe, children. Thank you so much.